views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the transformative show, We Carry the Light, with host Dr. Susan Allison, the show that inspires you to find the light within and shine your light in the world. Who are you right now? And who do you want to be? What is it that makes you happy, helps you feel fulfilled, and living your purpose? Tune in and let Dr. Susan help you discover that you carry the unique light that only you can shine. Now, here is your host, Dr. Susan Allison.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to We Carry the Light. And as the person just said, I am Dr. Susan. I'm so glad you're here. I hope your week's going well and that you are ready for an amazing show today that'll inspire you to live your soul's purpose as the light being you are. As you know, I always talk about this, but I'm going to again, that we are made of light, as I remind you that we can emanate this light everywhere we go. We can raise our frequency and feel ourselves vibrating at a higher and higher level every day. I don't think I've told you about a dream I had. I may have, but forgive me if I did. But I had a dream, a few years ago, and when waking up, I was singing a chant when I came right out of my dream state. And at the time, the meaning of it wasn't clear, but it is now. And the song goes like this. I'm a being of light, a bearer of light, a bringer of light I am. I'm a being of light, a bearer of light, a bringer of light I am. Let my mission unfold, I am ready. Let my mission unfold, I am ready. I'm a being of light, a bearer of light, a bringer of light I am. I am. So that chant has unfolded beautifully in my life, and it's becoming clearer and clearer what my mission is. I also have signed a contract with my divine teachers in the upper world, and the contract says that I am a light worker. I am to bring information, understanding, love, and healing to all I can. This is a very important reason that I host this radio show called We Carry the Light, and I bring on guests that I call light workers. They can inspire us to increase and shine our light in any way that's perfect for us. So, I am very excited about my latest book that's due out in early December called You Don't Have to Die to Go to Heaven, How to Find Guidance and Healing in the Spirit Realms. You'll be able to spirit travel to other dimensions through shamanic journeying, and there you will meet allies, guides, teachers, ancestors, and departed loved ones. You'll be able to travel to the moon and stars, become light, and many other things that are incredibly transformative, and I cannot wait to share my book with all of you. So, in that light, today's guest is a remarkable light worker himself, and it's Gordon Asher Davidson, who has a long career of active leadership in social change institutions and movements, while simultaneously pursuing a deep inner meditative life, culminating in his book, which we'll be talking about today, The Transfiguration of Our World, How a Light Alliance is Transforming Darkness and Creating a New Earth. So, he also co-founded Sirius, a spiritual environmental community, serving as founding director of the Social Investment Forum, founding and co-directing a Washington, D.C. institute, the Center for Visionary Leadership, and offering many clients worldwide deep spiritual guidance and transformational consulting for over 20 years. So let's welcome Gordon Asher Davidson. Hi, Gordon. I'm glad you've joined us.
Oh, thank you, Susan. And I really loved your chant. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, you can imagine that coming out of a deep sleep and finding myself singing was, because I do sing, I have CDs out, but it was like, obviously, I had to get that message and really step up in terms of my source.
It's a great way to receive a message.
It was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. So I knew you'd appreciate it. So I always start with the personal, and I know that my listeners are interested in your story, and so am I. And I'd love to know how you began to access other dimensions and telepathically connect with spiritual beings.
Well, I've been a meditator for over 40 years, and I've been deeply involved in spiritual study and work for a very, very long time with many different groups. I founded many groups and also international networks of spiritual groups. And my meditation life has just developed over the years, but there was a particular process I went through that really opened up the connection with all these spiritual masters and higher beings, and that was I was living in our spiritual community. I built this beautiful solar house, and then we were also living in Washington, D.C., going back and forth, and I decided I wanted to leave Washington and go back and live in our spiritual community. I was tired of all the intensity of Washington, so we moved all of our things back to Washington, and shortly after that happened, before our book Spiritual Politics came out, the house was burned to the ground by an arsonist. And that was an extremely traumatic event. And I was very upset and very angry with God and saying, how could this happen? We're good spiritual people. We're always working to try to bring in the light. And it took me quite a while to try to understand this. And what happened was I realized eventually that my choice not to stay in Washington but to come back to our rural community was not the highest choice. It was my personal will, not the higher will for my life. And so I went through this very, very deep process of eventually releasing my personal will and saying, I didn't know what we were supposed to do, where we were supposed to live, we had no place to go. And I said, okay, I give up, I surrender. I will do whatever I am supposed to do. I have no more effort to try to do what I think I should do. And at that moment, literally, very shortly, in that time frame, I started receiving, I had a contact with a spiritual master, a very clear contact. It was both audio, clairaudience and clairvoyance, and I was able to begin a conversation and a dialogue with him and other beings about everything in my life and everything in the world and what is going on in the world and why that had all happened and how I was supposed to move forward, which was to start a center in Washington called the Center for Visionary Leadership, which we did. And from that moment on, I have had this ongoing telepathic communication with this master and others and other beings. And I was trained very specifically and traveling to other places in the inner world and learning all about that and how it works and how to direct myself in the right ways and many, many, many things. And that's,
yes.
As you well know, it's very complex and there's a lot to it. And it's not as simple as everyone thinks. And so as a result, I have been doing everything in my life since then. That was 20 years ago. All the projects that I've taken on, the books I've written, have all been based on these inner contacts and communications that I've been having. So that's how I came into that kind of connection. Now it's an ongoing daily practice where it's very, very, in a matter of 5 seconds, I can be in touch. It's very, very direct, and it's not difficult at all. And it has totally transformed my life, of course, and it's the most important relationship I have in my life, along with my marriage, of course, to my wife.
Yes.
But, it's very much the center of my life, very important. And, and there's nothing like it. And I have been given information especially over the last 3 or 4 years, more and more information about what is going on in the world, why things are the way they are, what caused it, what is the history, where are we now, and where are we intended to go in the evolution of our Earth and our world and humanity and all of it. And so after receiving a lot of this information a few years ago, I was asked to start to do a teleseminar. I did an international teleseminar on this theme, and I had a large international group of professional people, and then I was asked to write a book on this, which I was somewhat reluctant to do because it's really coming out of the closet from where I was.
Yes.
I had a very mainstream history and resume, and so I really had to just let go of all that. But I did it. I wrote the book, and the response has been fantastic. And so many people have told me how much this book means to them, how it has given them hope for our future, it helps them understand what is going on in the world, where it is going, how they can contribute to what's happening and release them from some of the tremendous amount of fear that most people live in about the future, because that's a deliberately stimulated thing where it's, trying to keep people in fear is a good way to control them.
Exactly.
And that's really what is, and so it's helping people really understand this whole dynamic and how to overcome that, which is what I'm really focused on now.
Yes, you are. Thank you for that background. And were you asked or instructed to do this book from your spiritual guides?
Yes,
that's what I sensed. Although you didn't
absolutely.
say that.
Yeah, they and it took some convincing because
I know.
I was a little bit reluctant to go out publicly with all this, but I am extremely glad I did, as I've always been very glad that I followed the inner direction that I'm receiving, because it has always turned out to be wonderful.
Yes, and I loved how you said how important it is to get out of our own self-will and to surrender. And once we do that, there's like a flood of support from the other worlds. Just incredible. I have goosebumps all over me as I say that, because, and it's our own fear, is it not, that keeps us in that kind of small place.
Yeah, it's, that human beings are creatures of habit. We have our emotional patterns, our mental thought patterns, and we like to stay with what's familiar to us. And when you open up and say, okay, I'm going to let a lot of that, hanging on to all that, let that go, and see what's there that really can come in. It's incredibly liberating, and it's freeing, and it opens up tremendous access, as you know.
That's right.
And that is a beautiful thing. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Me either. We're going to need to take a break, and we'll be right back with Gordon Asher Davison. We're going to talk about our planetary history and the forces of light and darkness.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
We Carry the Light with host Dr. Susan Allison is the show that inspires you to find the light within and shine your light in the world. You'll hear from guests who model how to be the highest, brightest, most evolved, fulfilled, and conscious humans possible. Tune in each Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, on TransformationTalkRadio.com, and let Dr. Susan help you discover that you carry the unique light that only you can shine.
Tired of traditional talk? People pontificating about this or that, the left or the right. Sometimes the truth is just all lost in the noise. Tune in each week to Straight Talk with Chuck Gallagher on TransformationTalkRadio.com, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, as nationally known guests talk about what's important to you, your life, your concerns, and your success. Tune in and turn on to Straight Talk with Chuck Gallagher. Visit chuckgallagher.com for more information.
Do you want to transform your life's trauma and challenges into the gift that your life was meant to be? It's time for you to take control of your soul journey to heal, grow, and shine. Manifest your destiny with Wendy Wolf, soul transformer, energy, and psychic healer. To start your soul journey, contact Wendy at healgrowshine.com or email Wendy at wendy@wendyrwolf.com and start your adventure today.
Artie Hoffman is the hottest psychic with the warmest heart and the host of the hit show Angels and Answers. A renowned psychic, medium, spiritual life coach, and an entertaining motivational speaker, Artie has helped over 15,000 people with his amazing intuitive gifts, his passion, and his humor. Call 877-ANGEL-02 to schedule a personal reading or to have your own psychic Artie party. That's 877-ANGEL-02. And visit artiehoffman.com and Angels and Answers on Facebook.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome back, everyone, to We Carry the Light. This is Dr. Susan, and we're here with Gordon Asher Davison. And his book we're talking about is The Transfiguration of Our World, How a Light Alliance is Transforming Darkness and Creating a New Earth. And Gordon, I want to first, so we don't get so caught up in the conversation, which is fascinating, don't forget to do this. I'd love for you to tell people about your website, about how to contact you, any events that you have coming up, teleseminars or anything, and also how to get your book.
Yes. My book, The Transfiguration of Our World, is available on Amazon. That's the primary way at the moment. My website is worldtransfiguration.com, and on there you will find all the information. I have a regular blog. I also have events that I will be speaking at, both in person, and we are doing a new, I've done a lot of teleseminars. I'm doing a new one called the Galactic News Report, Updates from the Light Alliance, which will be a regular program that you can sign up for. The first session is free, where I will be giving my latest inputs on what's happening in the world from that higher perspective. And also we will be having meditation and questions and answers, so that every month you can get a clear understanding from the higher point of view what's happening on our planet. So that's the Galactic News. That'll start probably in September sometime.
Wonderful.
And then I have other teleseminars I'm doing on Transfiguration training, which I will be announcing up there also. So worldtransfiguration.com is the place to go to get all the latest on what I'm doing.
Wonderful. I was going to ask you, since I'm in driving distance of you, are you having any live events or groups that you're doing? I think you're in San Rafael.
Yes, I do a group every month here.
Okay, great.
And it's also on the website. And then I'm doing speaking around the country. I'm going to different places, in expos and other conferences, and speaking, UFO conferences, all kinds of places. So you can just go up on my website, worldtransfiguration.com, and look under events, and everything is listed there.
Wonderful. I'm interested in your group. And probably people in the Bay Area who are listening, you also could go to a live group, or you could take part in teleseminars and some of his expos that he's going to be speaking at. So wonderful. So tell us about our planetary history and the forces of light and darkness.
Well, it's a very complex story. Basically, what happened is very early on in our planet's beginning stages, there was although it was protected by the light forces, there was an incursion by certain beings from outside the planet who are pretty much of a predator-type species. They came in and established themselves on this planet very early on in a kind of strange situation. It was like a time warp, time-space anomaly. They were able to enter in here. This is very long ago, millennia ago. And the spiritual guardians, the light guardians of our planet, discovered their presence here. And there was a very big debate about whether they should be allowed to stay or be taken from the planet, which they could have been. And it was decided in the end that they would be allowed to remain, because having them here would present humanity throughout our evolution with the choice between going the path of darkness, selfishness, greed, and control, or the path of light, love, and service, so that each person would choose one or the other, and from the karma of their choices, they would learn that the light and love path is always better for themselves and everyone else. That has been the process of our evolution throughout our history. Those forces have been very active on this planet, and they also have set up control systems through the financial system, the media, everything. They really have had a very intensive control of our world. And at the same time, the spiritual lighted beings are also working, and they have come forward with many great teachers who have come forth and given the teaching of the path of light, and we have that in many of our different spiritual traditions. So it's been this ongoing struggle between the two, which one will, for the heart and soul of humanity, which one will we choose? And that's still been underway. So these dark forces have really taken control through the financial system, the Federal Reserve, and they now have been able to buy up so much of the political system and all the rest. And their culminating plan was based around 9/11. 9/11 was an orchestrated event in order to create enough fear and allow them to control and set up and remove more and more of our democratic freedoms, which they did with the Patriot Act and all the other things that came out of that, and a tremendous amount of fear that justified all kinds of more control and all the rest. However, 9/11 had one of the greatest unintended consequences in history, which is because of what they did, now we have to shift. It caused a reaction or a response from the solar system. And this is because our Earth is a chakra in the body of the solar system, just as we have chakras. Our solar system has chakras, and our planet is one of those chakras. Mm-hmm. And because this control of the darkness was increasing on our planet more and more, and they had been hoping and waiting because the solar being was ready to move on in its evolution and move to a higher frequency, but the condition of Earth was holding back the evolution of the entire solar system and beyond. And so, as a result of 9/11, they issued a decree which basically said that a time had come to remove the leadership of the dark forces from this planet. So they gave permission to the galactic civilizations. These are civilizations from other systems who are very present here all around our planet to remove them, and that was in 2002. And they began the process of taking that leadership off the planet, and they are now all gone. They either turned them to the light or they removed them. There are no longer any malevolent extraterrestrial influences directly on this planet or around it. That has been completely shifted. But we still have all the humans who cooperated with them during this period and gained tremendous wealth and power and privilege as a result. And they're not letting go easily because they want to continue their benefit for themselves. Right. So but because they lost that leadership, because those beings that they were removed, they had capacity to exert quite a lot of telepathic control over humanity. They could foresee to some degree into the future. They had all kinds of abilities that humans don't have. They're gone. So the humans left now have to struggle on without that kind of leadership, and they're not doing very well. That is one of the reasons why the systems on the planet are getting more and more dysfunctional, because it's harder and harder for them to maintain them. Mm-hmm. Another reason is that along with removing these forces, the galactics were given permission to increase the amount of light that they are radiating to the planet and gradually accelerate that. And that started in 2002. And that's been going on, resulting in the awakening of consciousness in many, many places all around our world, as we know, including the Middle East and everywhere. And they also were given permission to begin to work more closely with humanity, with the leadership of the world, with other people, any light worker, to increase their support and their energy that they're giving to everyone who's trying to do anything to help raise the frequency of the world, assist in this transformation process. So that's also going on. And they are what's known as the Light Alliance. This is an alliance of beings who are part of the planetary, interplanetary, and galactic systems who are all working together for the light within our galaxy and beyond our galaxy. And they are present, and they are very much around our planet. We see that with the increasing sightings of all the ships that's happening. And so this is a very strong reality that's happening. So in addition to that, we have, as humanity wakes up, more and more people are getting in touch internally, as you're a great example of this, more and more clearly with these higher beings who are offering their assistance, their energy, and their support. And they are in touch with world leaders, and they are working with leaders in many different countries, and they have devised a plan for the transformation of our financial system, which is one of the major control systems for the dark side. And that plan includes actually rechartering all the banks in the world so that they become like public utilities rather than for-profit corporations benefiting a few families, and also changing the money itself, removing all interest on debt and interest on money itself as it circulates through the system, and also really the wealth that's been accumulated by these elites, that we're hearing more and more about, which is a wonderful thing, and we're knowing more about this. All that wealth that has been accumulated through manipulation and stealing and illegal activities, and all of it will be confiscated and will be used to provide food, shelter, clothing, health care, education, and everything else for every single human being on this planet. That is definitely part of the plan. And that is underway. There is a tremendous amount going on, and I talk a lot about this in my book, about the evidence for this. That's not just something I've dreamed up. This is actually happening. One of the major things is the BRICS, the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa working together to create a new bank called the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, and that is one of the foundation stones for the new financial system that's gradually being put in place.
Wonderful. We're going to need to take a break, but I can't wait to come back and talk about this infusion of light and the conditions that are changing in our world because of it, all the proof that Gordon has that things are evolving and we have hope. We'll be right back.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.
Hi, I'm Leslie Fontaine with Sheer Alchemy on Transformation Talk Radio, and here's your tip of the day. When it comes to positive thinking and the law of attraction, many of us could say, been there, done that, read the book. So what happened if we didn't get there, didn't achieve the goal, didn't step into our abundance? Typically, there are some core wounds and core fears that keep us from stepping out. We also have energies in our ancestral lines, our cultural and family codes, and even agreements that keep us in check. So let me challenge you. When you had the desire that burned in your soul, what happened? How did discouragement set in? Why did you stop? What came up for you? Whose voices? Listen, there's hope, but it does not come from suppressing the energy that's within you. We all know it's going to spill out somewhere. So join me on Transformation Talk Radio and Sheer Alchemy, and we're going to find out how we can shift you into the intentions that can manifest for you.
Are you ready to thread your life with intuition? Intuit Apparel can help you do just that. This is not just about a piece of clothing. This is about a movement, an awakening, and staying centered in life. Your life. Intuitive and host of the radio show Get Into It, Lynn Brown, was given this image with the intention of a clothing line designed to represent the essence of life itself. Visit intuitapparel.com now and wear your intuition with pride.
Become a self-actualized professional coach, mentor, and leader, and make your difference in the world. The Rainer Institute has trained people from 4 continents and is the top-rated, accredited coach platform in the world. You'll learn skills from a program created by Mark Rainer as a result of 35 years of research as to what actually works for positive, lasting change. Come if you dare and give your life a chance at making the difference it so desires. Visit RainerInstitute.com to learn more.
Doctor loves quickies. Mary's about ready to give love the shove, 'cause no matter what she tries, guys don't know that she's alive. To turn guys on, she needs to turn on those green lights, nonverbal cues that say, over here. Most guys won't approach unless they're cleared for landing. So ladies, to kickstart your love life, turn on those green lights and flash your pearly whites. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf of AskDrLove.com.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've been listening, but if not, I'm here with Gordon Asher Davidson, and he's talking about his book, The Transfiguration of Our World, How a Light Alliance is Transforming Darkness and Creating a New Earth. As I told him during the break, I've had goosebumps all over me and tears in my eyes during this interview because it is so important for us to know that there is a shift, that there is a tipping point between the darkness and the light, and that more light is coming onto the planet and more hope for our beautiful, beautiful planet Earth. So, Gordon, before the break, you were starting to list more specifically where you see this shift happening. You started with the banks. I'd like you just to repeat that briefly because it was right before the break, and then talk about where else you see proof that this is happening.
Yes, well, there has been a very careful work being done behind the scenes with many of the finance ministers and even some of the heads of states around the world to work on developing a plan to gently and gradually move our financial system into something that's much more just and fair and appropriate for the good of all humanity. And so the control of issuing the money will move out of the hands of the elite, powerful families into the institutions that are really modulating the money for the good of everyone. There will be no more interest on money. There will be no more interest on loans. There will be debt forgiveness. There will be a recovering of all the monies that have been stolen and manipulated out of the system by the elites, and that money will be used to provide for the basic and good of every single human being on this planet. And then we will also have a whole period where we learn how to work together and assure that everyone will have what they need to survive. Because survival fear is the great subconscious energy that keeps humanity in fear, and it's deliberately cultivated so that it's easier to control people. But if we didn't have this constant survival fear, if we all knew that we are going to have everything we need to do well, and then we begin to become very, very creative. And we express our divine nature, which is to be creative and to design things, create things, music, dance, poetry, art, new inventions, all the things that people can do in their own communities and where they live all over the world. And that's really what humanity is meant to do. And the other major focus will be on the recreation, regeneration, and rebuilding of our natural environment. That will be the core purpose for humanity, to actually take our environment and rebuild it and regenerate the livingness of it. That's going to be our work.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. One thing you said in the book that I loved is even dealing with, in terms of financial institutions, that nothing is going to be done that's not sustainable, that's not for the good of the planet in terms of environmentally. And do you have examples of how any of this is already happening?
Well, of course, the massive effort that's been going on, and it's been a struggle and a great battle, but there are so many people now who are awakened to the need to take care of the planet as our beautiful garden and as our beautiful home, and are working to change all the practices, many of the practices that have been going on that are so damaging to the world. All that is underway. I mean, we have the coal mining is going through a huge setbacks after setbacks. with legal decisions. The demand for coal is dropping through the floor because of all the shift to alternative and wind energy and solar energy. That's really shifting tremendously. We've declared whole new areas of both in the United States that are as national reserves. New areas of the ocean are being set aside as ocean reserves with no fishing, to protect the environment and the fish stocks. All that's going on tremendously rapidly. The main thing that's really crucial is the new inventions to generate energy. Mm-hmm. That is really the key. And many, many people have come up with systems where you can pull energy or gain energy directly from the quantum field. That has been many inventions. I've read books on all the different inventions. There's a tremendous number of them, but they have all been suppressed and controlled by the cabal, by the dark side. They did not want this coming out. But as their power weakens and as their ability to control and hold the power, and it is weakening all the time, and you can see it very clearly through the loss of control of, the financial system. They can't just punch numbers into a computer and generate huge amounts of money anymore, because that control of those computers is no longer in their hands, and that's why we're having all these financial crises all over the world with the different currencies. And once that control, it's already lessening, and now some of the inventors of these new pre-energy systems are coming forward and offering their inventions, and they're starting to spread in a very low-key way. They're putting out the plans, and people are creating the systems and beginning to build them. And this is very, very significant. And it's eventually going to become very widespread, which means we get rid of fossil fuels altogether.
That's right.
Which will do wonders for the environmental crisis, global warming, and all the things we're facing. So this is a very, very important part of the plan and how this is unfolding. And there's also, we will be given help from the galactic civilizations at a certain stage where they will help us clean up the oceans. They have already been helping us with the radioactivity, because if we hadn't had their assistance after Fukushima, we would have the Pacific Ocean would be a gigantic radioactive sink, and it would have been destroyed. But they have neutralized the radiation from Fukushima. And there are actually videos, and I've seen them, of ships over the plant when the thing actually first happened. I'm talking about galactic ships over the plant. And they have been steadily doing this all along. So, and there is research done by Dr. Klinghardt, who studied all the fish in the Pacific, and he was very concerned, and there was some initial problems with the fish. And all of a sudden, this came out about 4 months ago, all of a sudden, the fish are fine. There's no more problem. He couldn't come up with any explanation of why this happened.
So can you say who this is that's found this research and where people can find it? Because of course they're going to. It's
the Klinghardt Institute, Dr. Klinghardt, and you can go search for his institute. He's a fish researcher.
Interesting.
And there are many other, and there are people who have been doing monitoring. That people don't trust the government to monitor and report on the radiation. Honestly. So there are people all up and down the West Coast who are out there with their radiation monitors checking, and they have not found any significant amount of radiation coming to the West Coast, either in the water or in the air, which is extremely, it's inexplicable under normal things. But what has happened is that the galactics have, in fact, neutralized it. They have the capacity to do that. They have the capacity to help us clean up the oceans with all the pollution and acidity and all these things that we have. Their technology is far advanced from ours, as is their spiritual development. And that is all going to become available to us as we progress. Now, the thing that's very important in all this is to realize that as we wake up as humanity, and we do more and more to free ourselves from this kind of control, turn off the television, start paying attention to what's going on, listen to the positive inputs instead of all the negative, and start visualizing and holding a positive future for our world, which many, many people are doing now.
Yep.
The more we do, the more help they can give.
Yes.
They're already giving help, but as we wake up, it's a modulated thing, because they don't want to overly interfere with our free will, but they are giving help. the more we take on, we do and move forward, the more help they give. So it's a very positive cycle there.
Yeah, let's offer listeners what they can personally do, because you mentioned meditation, and in your book you talk about group meditation being particularly helpful. Mm-hmm. But what else can the average person do, Gordon?
Well, I think one of the first things is to understand that there is a deliberate effort to try to keep people in fear, in separateness, trying to make people afraid of one another through all the violence and horrible energy and frequencies that are broadcast constantly through all the media, right?
Yeah.
In everything, everywhere. Turn it off.
Yeah.
Stop listening to it. It is poison. It is mental poison, and it's just as important what we take in through our attention to the media as what we eat. It's probably more important.
I agree with you.
And so it's very important to let go of all that, free yourself from it, realize what it really is intended to do, which is to weaken you, make you afraid, and follow all the things they're trying to do. Take more drugs, watch more stupid entertainment, waste your time playing video games or whatever it is. Just instead start reading things and focusing on things that are positive, that show you the bigger picture, show you what's really going on this planet, doing your own research. It is very important. And begin to hold that there is a higher plan for our consciousness on this planet, for our evolution. It is there. It is being implemented. Learn about it. Discover it. Pay more attention to it. Because you're using your consciousness in that way, by giving energy to it, is making it more and more real, and that it will actually manifest, because consciousness is what creates the future.
You're absolutely right. We have to take another break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about this, more about what you can do personally, and we're going to talk about the hope and the beauty of our future on this planet. We'll be right back.
Preceding audio was via a Skype call.
Have you been seeing numbers like 111 and 222 everywhere you go? Do you feel that the universe may be trying to get your attention, perhaps offering a message of some sort? As it turns out, numerical patterns and certain types of geometry form the very fabric of our reality, from cells under a microscope to the astronomy of our night sky. At Stellar Reflections, we offer special sessions which tap into these patterns, designed specifically to support you on your journey. The 111 and 222 activations are sessions activating new patterns in your energy field, which in turn can help you create new patterns in your life. After just one session with a practitioner, either in person or via distance, clients report gaining greater clarity, becoming more intuitive, and honoring their inner truth as they move forward in their lives. Curious about what these transformational sessions might do for you? Call 425-999-9836 or visit stellarreflections.com. That's stellarreflections.com.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Each month, listen to Live More Radio with co-host Allie Katz. Join Allie and Dr. Pat as Allie introduces new ways to bring balance back to your life through meditation, sleep, and exercise techniques, so you can live your truly authentic life. Stress less, live more. To learn more about Allie, visit livemoreradio.com.
Enlightening, humorous, and compassionate. Listen live to The Kelly Ballard Show, insight and inspiration from the great beyond. Kelly is a fourth-generation medium and intuitive who covers topics ranging from grief, spirit guides, and listening to your intuition. Kelly can help you get answers and guidance from the other side with a little bit of humor and a lot of healing. Tune in to The Kelly Ballard Show, Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Time here on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome back, everyone, to We Carry the Light. This is Dr. Susan, and Gordon Asher Davidson is here with his book, The Transfiguration of Our World. And you can get his book on Amazon, and I'll have him tell you again at the end of the show how to contact him. I hope you've been enjoying the show. It's been amazing. So we've been talking about what we do as individuals, what we can do personally to change what is happening in our world and create an amazing, conscious future for our planet. So, Gordon, I would love for you to talk about the matrix of love and how people can access it.
Yes. I mean, the fundamental idea is that despite how things appear in the world, there is this planet, our solar system, the whole entire universe, is really held within this incredible matrix of love energy. It's really extraordinary. And I'll just read you a couple of pieces from how the Master actually describes it, because I think it's very potent. Love is an all-pervading, omnipresent, infinite field matrix of energy which transcends all dimensional limitations of time and space and creates an indissoluble bond between all worlds and dimensions. It is an energetic matrix which, when entered at any point in any dimension, ultimately unfolds into a unity of consciousness with ever-expanding wholes to which there is no end or limit.
Wow.
And it's the greatest expander and extender of consciousness there is, the link between all worlds and dimensions, which holds every atom and every galaxy in right relationship. And so I think this is wonderful to sense this, to know that we are part of this matrix. So in terms of entering it, it's all about paying very, very close attention on a moment-to-moment basis of what raises your consciousness, what raises your frequency, what feels better, what feels more open, more spacious, more loving, and what lowers it. And this is one way that, if you really want to watch it, go and watch some really horrible, violent program on television and notice how you feel watching it and afterwards. And that should tell you everything you need to know about the impact of these things. And likewise, seeking out, spending time in nature, which is very beautiful and already at a higher dimensional frequency, how that raises your energy and makes you feel better. So many people are aware of this. What you think about, what your focus of attention is put on, is extremely important. And so it's so easy to let your consciousness flow into all kinds of weird things or useless, trivial things, worrying about things or whatever, and really learning to focus your attention on that which is beautiful, uplifting, and leads you into the new world. That's really part of it. So it's living in that new state, that higher level, as much as you possibly can, making that your life focus. It's really all about that. And when you do that and holding that vision of where we're going in our future, that is helping to create it. It's one of the most powerful contributions we each can make is by holding that vision. And in doing that, we are changing the world atmosphere from fear and insecurity to relaxed goodwill, and confidence that for people that they will be safe, respected, and provided for, so they can build creative, joyful lives. That's really what this is about, is giving people a sense of safety and security, because so many people are in such fear about that, and understandably with the way the system runs right now.
Yeah. No, in fact, you said in your book that the dire conditions of the world right now are, so it's so difficult, so challenging. It is causing us to shift and transform.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And people had to know how distorted and corrupted all the systems are before they would be open to having a real fundamental change. So that's why all this information has had to come out about all of what's happened behind the scenes. And just only a fraction of it has come out, but it's enough to help people realize this system can't be fixed. It has to be changed.
Yeah. It's interesting. What's coming up for me is in the Baha'i faith that was established in 1850s, 1860s in Persia. They have, the teachings, the writings say that everything has to collapse, that this old world order has to go. And that from it, there's going to be built this new civilization that is based on love, that's based on sharing, that's based on uniting as a humanity, based on world unity. And so those teachings are coming up for me because they so resonate with what you've written in your book.
Right. And I think the main thing is the Light Alliance is working to make the transition as minimally disruptive and traumatic as possible.
Yep.
That is definitely part of the plan. We don't have to have a massive upheaval catastrophe for this change to happen, and that is really not going to happen. At the solar level, the decree has already come forward. There will be no nuclear war on this planet. There will be no more major false flag events like 9/11. Everything is changing, and there is safety now is really important for humanity.
Yeah.
You want to talk about managing overstimulation?
We can do it briefly. Yeah, we have a couple of minutes. But
I think
for me personally, Gordon, that would be helpful.
Yeah, it's just realizing grounding is really important. That means establishing a contact with the earth itself. Walking barefoot in the water on the ocean is the best thing for that. But you can also just walking barefoot on the earth, wet the earth, because it creates a contact where the excessive positive ions pass out of your body, and the earth has negative ionization, and it pulls excessive energy into the earth and helps balance your physical and etheric bodies. It's really, really important.
Great.
If you're getting too stimulated, cut back on meditation. Do it more in groups instead of individually. Also working with your subconscious, which is one of the things I spend a lot of time doing. I work with people, finding where the blockages are and the resistances, and clearing those by working with, loving, and talking to the parts in your subconscious that are doing these things, and really getting them to choose to change and let go of them.
Wonderful. I love that. I think it's a perfect time for you to remind people how to contact you, about your website and so forth.
Thank you. Yes, you can go to my website, worldtransfiguration.com, and there you can find all the latest in my blog and information on all the programs we're doing, and all the events where I'm speaking, and also you can purchase the book on Amazon directly, in either Kindle or hardcover, and it's World Transfiguration, the Transfiguration of Our World, how a light alliance is transforming darkness and creating a new earth.
Great. Thank you, Gordon. It's been a pleasure having you on my show, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And thank you, my wonderful listeners, my light-filled listeners, for opening your hearts and using your minds to transform and live your soul's purpose in the world. I honor you, and I'm so grateful for you. Next week, we have author Fran Shaw, who is going to lighten us up, have us laughing and learning with her book, Lord Have Mercy. Until then, this is Dr. Susan reminding you that you carry the unique light that only you can shine.
You've been listening to the transformative show, We Carry the Light, with host Dr. Susan Allison, the show that inspires you to find the light within and shine your light in the world. Who are you right now, and who do you want to be? What is it that makes you happy, helps you feel fulfilled, and living your purpose? Tune in every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific, and let Dr. Susan help you discover that you carry the unique light that only you can shine.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.